Coming up on today's show, the PS5 Pro has been revealed, and it's expensive. Apple wants you to play more games on the iPhone 16, and Britt found some details about Yakuza Wars. What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Good Games podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, analysis, and funny stuff every Friday. I am one of your hosts, Andrea Renee, joined by my partner in crime, the blonde nerd, Brittany Brombacher.
That's me. I'm blonde and I'm a nerd.
I love it, but you are channeling Barbie in this hot pink tank top.
Thank you. I feel like that is a compliment in this day and age. I found a tank top on Amazon, Andrea, and it has the built-in bra
I love a built-in bra.
It's the exercise, the built-in bra. It's not too tight in the chest area, and it's so comfortable. I bought one in every single color. I don't care. I have found
you got to link me now.
I will. It's very convenient and very comfortable to put on, because the thought of having to put a bra on is just too much. Too much.
It is. Yes,
I don't have to worry about it.
I think everybody out there who has titties understands the plight of holding them up all day long.
Yeah, and it's like, what shirt do I want to wear? Therefore, what bra do I want to wear? And you have your one bra that's your favorite, but she's worn out. She's got holes in her. You got to save her for the special occasions. So
the one that has holes?
Yeah, because she doesn't have much life in her left. She's just a tattered piece of cotton going ugh,
I feel like if you have a piece of clothing that has holes in it, that's the universe's way of saying this one did its time. This one can probably go in the garbage.
Maybe easy access. But I can turn it into a rag. I can at least turn it into a rag so I don't have to say goodbye. I'm scrubbing my kitchen countertop.
If you're feeling sentimental about it, that is a great way to upcycle.
No, the problem is they don't carry it anymore. They don't carry it anymore, and I can't make it. Victoria's Secret fucked up. They suck. They don't suck. They've done a lot of good things for their body image in the last X amount of years, whatever. But I still digress. They don't make this bra anymore, and it's very upsetting. Anyway,
their clothing has gone down markedly in quality.
Yeah, it's really sad, actually.
Yeah, it is.
What's good titties, everybody?
Just about that. But instead, we're here to talk about video games, whether it's your first episode or your 383rd episode. We are glad that you guys are here to join us to talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro. Dun, dun, dun. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but I want to say thank you to this month's super producers, Faris Attieh, Punkdefied, and Joshua Franklin. And thank you to everybody who is supporting us on Supercast and has left us a 5-star review. Keep all of the emails and messages coming that you guys have been sending about the show. We have just 3 episodes left, Brittany.
Wow. Does that feel real to you?
No, it doesn't. It definitely doesn't feel like I have all of the production I want to do for the finale even planned yet. I have been planning for over a month now, but lots to do still.
Well, we'll make it happen. We have some fun stuff planned.
We do. We have some very fun things planned, including a special guest who is joining us not only for the finale episode, but also on our newly announced finale stream. That's right. We couldn't do a send-off episode without doing something live and having some shenanigans. We are excited to announce that on Tuesday, September 24th, at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we will be streaming at youtube.com/whatsgoodgames and twitch.tv/whatsgoodgames to have some finale shenanigans. Now, that will not be the finale episode. We're doing that separately, but it will be a fun time nonetheless, and we hope that you can join us. So mark your calendars. Tuesday afternoon, because why not?
I just had this weird flash forward of signing off for our last episode and what that's going to be like. And it just hit me. But I'm not going to think about it right now. I'm going to bury that bitch deep inside my soul. Mm-hmm. But I just had that moment.
Compartmentalize that emotion.
I am. And then it's going to manifest, and then I'm going to cry. It's going to be great. We should have a contest to see who ruins their makeup the most.
Oh, I think it's going to be, a multi-way tie if I had to guess. But we will find out in 2 weeks if that is going to go down or not. And now we are going to talk about the PS5 Pro. I do want to also let you know that this episode is brought to you by the Golden Nugget Casino Online, and we will talk about that in just a little bit. But first, open your wallets, everybody, because the
Lord.
PlayStation 5 Pro has been officially unveiled with a wonderful technical presentation by the smoothest voice in video games. That's right, Mark Cerny over at PlayStation. I'm so glad that they did another one of these videos. I don't think it quite had the same punch as the audiophile-centric presentation he did at GDC when they were first unveiling the PS5, but still.
PlayStation 5 Pro.
Like you said, I could
advanced
listen to this man talk all day long. Here, I'm going to play just a little snippet.
a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5
Just a snippet.
and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience.
What a lovely voice. What a
I
lovely voice.
imagine if I could hear it, I would be sleeping. Listen, like, how good for that man to know the job security he has if this price reveal completely tanks PlayStation and they blow up and they're gone forever, he'll have a nice career in ASMR and child book reading. Like, read books, dude. Just read books. Tell me some of my favorite bedtime stories, and I will just be so happy. I will buy those weird ass little earphones that you demonstrated that one time, and I will put them in my ear, and they will live in there, and I will listen to stories about Goldilocks. But yeah, so this is interesting, isn't it? I don't know. Do you want to read the article before we start breaking it down? Because I have thoughts.
Yeah, so let me just read the highlights from the PlayStation blog. The PS5 Pro will officially launch on November 7th.
November? Did you just say November? I love that.
I did say November. I sure did.
Right.
Brain's only moving at half speed, everybody. November 7th, 2024. It is going to come with an upgraded GPU that has 67% more compute units than the current PS5 and 28% faster memory overall, which enables up to 45% faster rendering for gameplay, making the experience much smoother. It's going to have advanced ray tracing with more dynamic reflection and refraction of light, which allows the rays to be cast at double and at times triple the speeds of the current PS5 console. It's going to also include AI-driven upscaling with the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, an AI-driven upscaling that uses machine learning based on technology to provide super sharp image and clarity. And other enhancements include the PS5 Pro Game Boost, which can apply to more than 8,500 backwards compatible PS4 games playable on the PS5 Pro. And this feature may stabilize or improve the performance of supported PS4 and PS5 games. Enhanced image quality for PS4 games is also available to improve the resolution of select PS4 games, and the PS5 Pro will launch with the latest wireless technology, Wi-Fi 7 in territories supporting the standard. VRR and 8K gaming are also supported. Pre-orders open on September 26th, and October 10th will be when you can do it in physical locations, I believe. It says participating retailers. So, like, if you want to go on down to, your good old Best Buy or whatnot.
The price, baby. This is the lovely thing. $700 fucking dollars.
$699.99, which means in pretty much any state that has tax, which is I think all of them, add another like $50 to $70 on top of that.
On top of that, I've seen outrageous numbers thrown out there from other countries like Australia. Oh, it might, not to mention.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, are you going to read the thing that's in the show notes below?
I don't see it.
Speaking of the prices, these prices aren't the prices for different regions. This is just the prices for other consoles.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, you do have these prices down here. Yeah, you have the disc drive, $80 additional, vertical stand, $30 additional. Oh, this is cute. You have still plain PS4 games, priceless. So it's wild. And this is the thing, like, I saw the footage, I was looking at the game comparison, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. You can talk about all of your flippity flops and your compute units and your whatever compute units, your tracing, I want triple the rays in my face, whatever. That honestly, like, doesn't mean anything to me. I just want to know, does it look prettier? And it does look like it looks prettier. The thing that I've been seeing thrown around is you can now play high resolution mode, high fidelity mode at 60 FPS, which to me is like, that's the future. That's the thing that I really, really, truly want. And then when I saw the price point, I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. This is going to be, Andrea, I think the first mid-cycle of refresh that I'm probably going to pass on. I just can't I cannot justify spending this much money on it. I think when I look at the PS4 Pro, from my memory, I am old and my memory is bad, but I feel like that leap in technology from PS4 to PS4 Pro was very noticeable, and I could easily justify the price increase on that. But this one feels like it's just there to be there, not because. Do you know what I'm trying to say here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I would love to have it. If we weren't wrapping the show up in 3 weeks, I'd be like, hey, Sony, hey, you looking good, girl. You want to send a review copy our way? But I digress. I can't do that now because the show's going to be dead in the water. Yeah. I don't know. It's sad. I want it. I want it, baby. But I can't.
think when I look at some of their side-by-sides, and granted, when you're looking at the stuff online, you have to take into account that, YouTube compression is happening, and unless you download like the 4K video, you're not going to be able to see the exact pixels. But let's be clear. The PlayStation 5 already is a graphics powerhouse. Like, the games already look great on PlayStation 5. Now, I know it's not the same fidelity that PC users are used to, but to have the plug and play functionality of me being able to open up my game library or go to the PlayStation Store, or even I do a lot of my gaming or game buying, I should say, on the PlayStation app, and then it downloads directly to my console and I don't even have to do an extra step. Like, that convenience to not have all of the hassle that comes with being a PC gamer. And you can come at me if you want, but PC gamers, as someone who also has a PC that can do gaming, I don't game a lot on my PC because it's a lot of work. Always got to be updating drivers, and then there's like the graphics card, and then of course, like, I can't afford a nice monitor after I've already spent all that. But I already have a 4K TV, so that's great. But the cost is something that I understand given the global economic situation with how much everything is. But it also means that people have less money than ever. And so I kind of have to scratch my head a bit about why they're putting this out now instead of maybe waiting like another year. Maybe it's just because they already had it part of their rollout and this is when it was scheduled, and, economy be damned. And we do have to remember that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S launched during COVID.
Yeah.
So
Help.
Well, best laid plans or whatever. But Jeff Keighley, producer of the Game Awards, Opening Night Live and Summer Game Fest, tweeted, "Here are inflation-adjusted prices for mainline PlayStation consoles since launch." And I thought it was interesting that he put all of the console prices. So PS1, back in 1995. Now, remember, he said these are inflation-adjusted prices.
All right.
Was $611 when it launched. PS2, $546. PS3, $778. That was like a big deal. A lot of people were very mad about that.
Yes, they were.
PS4 was $538. PS4 Pro, $522. So that to me was a normal leap. The price didn't really go up at all. It kind of stayed the same. PS5 was $606. And the PS5 Pro is $699, beating everything except the PS3.
Nothing's going to beat that bitch.
No, but remember, that came with a lot more things in the box. It came with the Blu-ray player, which at the time was incredibly expensive to buy as a standalone unit.
Was not the PS2? PS2 was the DVD player.
No, because I don't think Blu-ray was pervasive by then. But I feel like here's what I read
to make sure Okay, so it does not have a Blu-ray drive. No, you're right, but it did play. Okay, this is what happened. Is I remember I was playing Half-Life on my PlayStation 2, which you could do back in the day. I had a Blu-ray disc. Sometimes it would play, sometimes it wouldn't, and that explains it. Because the drive didn't work great, but it did have the DVD player, and that was the hot topic. That was the thing for PS2. But anyway, yeah, like, I think again, like I understand that I don't think the cost is outrageous considering what's inside this thing. Again, like I don't really know tech that well, but I've read a lot of articles from folks and people who do know what they're talking about. And the consensus I'm reading, unless I'm reading something vastly different from everyone else, is that like, yeah, this isn't outrageous considering what you're getting for this thing. I think the issue that people are having, and this is kind of where I'm at, is it feels like this console is just here because it's expected to get a mid-cycle refresh, not so much because we need it. I am still so incredibly happy, to your point, baby girl, with my PS5, with the way it is, the way it runs things. In my perfect world, I would be able to run my high-resolution graphics at my 60 FPS. That is the dream, but I don't know if I need to spend $700 to get that right now. And that's my life and my existence.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely where I'm at too. I like having my disk drive. I think them taking that out is a huge bummer. I'm not sure, like I think that would have been a huge added value for people who are not playing physical video games, but want it for Ultra HD Blu-ray, which is Sony's proprietary technology. So it's like, why not bake that into the console and have that as part of the cost? And I'm sure there's an engineering reason and an economic reason, like it puts the SKU at X amount of price or whatever. And I get that that's part of the business of making hardware, but it just feels like such a miss to me. And that really, we're gonna charge people $30 extra for the stand. Is that you can't include the stand? This is like the gripe I had with Apple in the most recent iteration of iPhone, and we're gonna talk about iPhone 16 a little bit later on. But how they didn't include the charging brick. They're like, here's a cable, but you don't get the brick that goes into the wall. With the Edison
When
plug.
did this happen? When did this happen, baby?
Last year, when they released the iPhone 15, I like opened the box and I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
No, like what I mean is
$1,000 for this piece of equipment, and you couldn't give me the brick. That's the part I want.
That's the thing I'm talking about. Like I feel like it just happened under our noses over the past several years, where you just kind of stopped getting little things that you would expect to get. I remember, I think the first example that I can think of is when you'd get collector's editions without the game. Remember that? I was like, that's interesting. And yeah, like, why just the stand? Come on. Like, of all things to omit, the stand. I mean, the disk drive, I mean, again, I know that's more expensive to make, blah, blah, blah. But I do feel bad for people who have invested in physical discs and they do want to get this. And now it's an additional $80 so they can play the games they've bought into. It's hard. And I know Sony's getting absolutely reamed, but do you think this thing is going to sell out quickly? Do you think it's always going to be readily available? What's your ball, your ball here, your crystal ball?
I definitely don't think this thing is going to sell out. I think it'll be popular at launch like anything that is for early adopters. There's also still a good amount of folks who have not upgraded from the PS4 to the PS5. I think the backwards compatibility is a huge win and is a good way to encourage people who have not upgraded to consider this as an upgrade. But again, the cost is just incredible, especially when they have certified, refurbished PS5s that are rolling out on the PlayStation Store. So if you don't want to spend $800+ on a PS5 Pro, you can get a very incredible piece of machine called the PS5, certified and refurbished from PlayStation for $400.
I think it's $350.
Oh, there is a model that is $350.
$350, yeah.
The discless version is $350.
If that's what you want.
You know, like what? It's like half the cost.
Yeah, literally half the cost. Yeah. I made a joke on Twitter and I said, time to start selling bathwater. I was joking, but the amount of interest I got, baby, the amount of folks who DM'd me that asked if I was serious, and I was like, I'm not, but maybe I need to be.
Wow.
Would you like to go into business with me again?
If it means we can get all that sweet, sweet ray tracing, but
get the triple the ray traces in your face. Whoa.
I need more particle effects, please.
Oh my gosh,
I'm willing to sell, foot water, I guess.
Foot water. Oh God.
So silly.
Yeah.
Well, we obviously had to talk about this, so let us know what you guys think. If you think the PS5 Pro is worth the price tag, or if you're going to keep holding out for whatever is coming next, or for the next generation potentially, by leaving us a comment below. We are going to take one quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some headlines, including Xbox just coyly announcing, hey, guess what? Friends are back on Xbox Live. More on that in a minute. This episode of What's Good Games is brought to you by Golden Nugget Online Casino. After your laundry is set to permanent press, it's time to give Golden Nugget Online Casino a spin. With hundreds of the most exciting games, Golden Nugget lets you live it up in your downtime on classic and exclusive slots only found in their online casino. So take a load off while you wait for your load of laundry and say hello to your golden era. New players can get $77 instantly in casino site credits. All you have to do is sign up with our code, What's Good Games, and deposit just $7 to get $77 in casino site credits. Make any moment golden. Do you have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. One per new customer. Max reward of $77 in site credits that expire in 168 hours. See site for reward playthrough requirements and terms at goldennuggetcasino.com/welcome. Brittany, it's that time of year. September. That means Apple is rolling out what's next for the iPhone.
Oh, lordy girl. I still have a 13 Max. I have not upgraded in a minute. And maybe this will be it. Maybe what you're about to read is going to blow my mind so significantally that I'm going to say, fuck you, end this podcast, and go buy one.
Well,
I don't even know if
they do have a new button, which is Eurogamer.
It's the sort of thing, Andrea, I think that I'm looking at these features. There's something called like Genmoji. I don't even know what that is. Like whatever. I don't even know. The woman's typing stuff into her phone and it's answering her. Cool. I don't think that would sell me on getting a new iPhone. It's before. Right now I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm too old and curmudgeonly for all that tech. What it's even, I just need to take pictures and text people. Blah, 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 blah. Watch TikTok. Blah.
Yeah, if you're not using your phone for apps that require a lot of power or for lots of storage. Basically, if you're working on your phone, then these things really matter to you. But if you're not and you just want the cool new thing, then that's cool too. But Apple has done such a great job of making their tech go a lot longer than it did previously, because I think everybody who's been in the Apple ecosystem has been part of a generation of Apple products that just goes, kaput after a software update is pushed. You're like, wait, my phone was working or my iPad was working, and then they pushed some iOS update and now it's basically like donezo. But they've been much better about adjusting that. Is that because there's been global regulations about it? Yes, they are fighting legal battles on a lot of fronts these days, as they should, because they have quite a dominant position in the market, and it's good that people are holding their feet to the fire. But also, as somebody who's very much in the Apple ecosystem, I love their products. They're just so easy to use, and I love that their gaming team has been really pushing not only gaming on iPhone through arcade and other storefronts, but also on Mac as well, and saying, hey, don't forget, you can play video games on your Mac. And they're like, yeah, Macs are actually very, very powerful, more powerful than a lot of PCs. So
what's up with the camera button? I was trying to understand what's happening. Is it a separate button on the phone now?
Yes. So it's interesting. There were several tech site stories that I read that made sort of a joke about how Apple made a big show of taking buttons and ports away on their devices and now are adding them back in.
Yes.
After people around the world are like, hey, we need more buttons, actually. So
it's true.
We can't do everything on the glass. And so I appreciate that they added back in, but the button on the side is basically, so like if you're holding your phone up in front of you to like do a selfie or to take a photo of you and a friend or whatever, there's a second button below the current action button. So this is my phone. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's an action button here, which they added in the iPhone 15. And now where the SIM slot is, so that's in the middle, there's a second button. So when you're holding your phone up to like take a picture, you can literally just click and it opens your camera and I was watching iJustine because she always does the best Apple coverage because she's one of the GOAT Apple creators. And she's OG. And she's just a lovely person. Everybody go watch iJustine. She's great. You can actually like use your finger to like slide back and forth to zoom in and out instead of using your fingers on the glass.
Okay, see, that's brilliant.
Yes. And I'm like, that's what I want. I want that thing.
I do want that thing too. It's such a pain in the ass right now because with my phone, it's like, yeah, you can either click the little like camera button from the lock screen or you have to swipe up and then people try to take pictures on your phone and they just touch everything and it gets weird. You know,
I don't see that going away. I think people will still be able to get to your phone or your camera from the unlock screen.
I mean,
so
that's
just
fine.
Delete all the weird selfies, I guess. But being able to have your phone open, like if you have your phone open, being able to just hit the button and go right into camera mode is great.
Yeah.
Because I think they understand that people are using their phones as cameras as one of the primary functions of your mobile device. Obviously, texting, calling are incredibly important apps, but it's our camera in our pocket. I mean, we're documenting life and doing FaceTimes and, you know, all kinds of stuff with cameras. So I think it's a really smart upgrade. Is it worth me trading in my iPhone 15 Pro? Probably not, because it was expensive. But it's cool.
I think maybe I could upgrade. I don't know. I have the 13. It's been a hot minute since I've upgraded.
I think you should upgrade, especially since the front-facing camera improvements over the last 2 iPhones have been markedly better.
Really? Is that my problem? Because I feel like when I take front-facing, I'm like, whoa, jump scare. What's going on here?
Yes, it is. And I don't want to be like, yes, it's your problem, but I think we have this misconception that the selfie camera is much nicer than it is, but they, again, did some really big improvements in the last 2 generations. So if you also have been wondering why your photos don't look as good, you might just have, you know, smudge on your lens. You should just wipe that off. But then try again, and if it still looks bad, maybe it's time to upgrade.
Wipe off the smudge. That's been my problem this whole time.
You know, if taking pictures is important to you, of course. That's.
I mean, you know, I gotta send you
parents,
nudes.
That's what we do all the time.
Well, we went in two completely different directions. You and I was about to say I gotta send you nudes after the show wraps up, and you were like, as parents. Well,
girl, yes, our brains were in different places.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
I like where yours was at. All right, so that was a little bit longer of a headline than I intended it to be, but wanted to mention it and. Also, very excited about Balatro coming to Apple Arcade in like 2 weeks.
Girl.
Can't wait. I'm going to pin this next headline and go to the one after it, and I'll come back. So I saw this on Twitter. Xbox is reintroducing friend requests. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, Andrea, did friend requests actually go away? And I'd be like, yes, they did. And they were replaced with this community feature. That I don't want to be like, was terrible, but it was terrible. So they tweeted, if you're, they didn't tweet this. I wrote this. If you're like me, then you probably have been ignoring your friends list on Xbox for quite some time because its functionality has been borked, to say the least. But good news, Xbox posted on the app formerly known as Twitter and said you will be able to send, accept, or delete friend requests in addition to following or being followed by others. We are testing with Xbox insiders now and look forward to sharing more later this year on a full rollout. Also, your existing mutual friends will update automatically with this change once we roll it out, and you'll stay friends with people who had also added you as a friend previously and continue following anyone who hadn't.
Well, this is absolutely, I am one of those people who was like, huh? They went away? I didn't even know that. I have like 5 friends on Xbox. No, that's not true. That is absolutely the complete opposite of what's true. I have like 5 people I know as friends. You, Jason, some other people, Steimer is on there, Rhea is on there. Everybody else are just randos that I had added throughout the years. Back when I thought I would.
They're randos who've added you because they had that as a community feature that you could add people just by knowing their gamer tag. And there was like no way to prevent that with the way that they ran their community feature. So if you go to your separate friends tab, not your close friends, but the other tab, it's like because I have a public facing profile, there's literally like thousands of people in there who I have no idea who they are and I've never met them before.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains a lot then. Okay, great. See, I don't play any games with people online, really, so I don't really know. I just exist, and I'm just happy to be alive. And as long as I want to play Space Marines 2 with Jason, I want to be able to do that. But that explains why I don't know all these people and all the weird messages and shit I get. Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. I'm glad that's going away. Good.
It might be worth even just like, I don't want to be like, nuke the whole friends list from orbit and start over, but maybe.
No, I will. I'm absolutely going to. Because that was frustrating. I thought it was my bad. See, I was incorrectly, Xbox, you need to pay for my therapy. I was incorrectly blaming myself for this position I put myself in. I was like, oh, look what I did. Turns out, nope, wasn't me.
I mean, it's very possible that, in your 360 era that you added a bunch of people that you used to play with.
Oh, I absolutely did. Yeah.
And then now you're like, hey, I don't even remember who this person is. Like, what game did we play together?
No.
I think we all have people like that in our friends list that were like, I think I added you after playing some random Rainbow Six sessions sometime and like what's good. People that I used to like run like vanilla Destiny with.
Ooh.
Things like that it's like, well, maybe it's time to say goodbye.
It's time to say goodbye. Isn't that a song?
Anyway,
I feel like we can move on.
also, Destiny 2's roadmap has been revealed to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Destiny, speaking of vanilla Destiny. But sadly, it was just after their player base hit an all-time low following the Final Shape expansion. So this has been such an interesting story to kind of watch unfold. Because those numbers were reported before they announced the roadmap. And I think the folks who are left at Bungie clearly understood, like, hey, we got to get out in front of what's happening and remind the community that we still have content coming, that we're not abandoning the game fully, but that, we are doing things a little bit differently from here on out. So what they're calling these new annual expansions and episodes are medium-sized expansions with 4 free updates per year. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the details because I know there are plenty of people listening to the show that don't actually play Destiny, but it sounds like the next actual expansion that's going to be of this medium size is coming next summer, 2025.
Okay. So obviously our shows are winding down. We followed you across your Destiny journey for a very long time. Are you excited for the future of Destiny? Are you worried about the future of Destiny? Where are you at right now?
I'm definitely worried about the future of Destiny because it feels like a lot of the community members that I know that play Destiny still really just want Destiny 3. They don't want Destiny 2, the live service game. Live service games are difficult to manage long-term for a variety of reasons: staffing, server cost, keeping the community engaged, trying to split serving hardcore players and casual players who want to come back. Like, there's a lot of challenges to keeping a live service game going for 10 plus years, which is why we have so few of them that are still successful, right? Yeah. And I, as a Destiny player, would love to see them just do something a little different. I obviously don't want to fully walk away from Destiny 2 yet because, quite frankly, there's a lot of stuff from the last year or two that I haven't played that I'd love to spend more time with. But I also think it's okay for them to take a break for a long while and just say, listen, we're working on something new and fresh. And obviously, Bungie's working on Marathon, right? So we know that that's in the works. And other projects that they had in R&D, and what that's going to look like, we don't quite know yet. But I think there's nothing wrong with them saying, hey, we love the community, but we think in order for us to envision what's best for the game, the developers, and the community, we need to just stop making content fully for a while instead of continuing to kind of trickle along. But
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to miss hearing about your takes, so I got to get you talking about it while I can.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Someday I'll get back to playing it when I'm out of my little child era that I am still very much in.
Yep. Feel you on that, baby.
All right, Britt, take headlines home.
Let's frickin' do it. What would it be without a Yakuza story? You know what I'm saying? So Thank you, baby. This one comes from Video Game Chronicle. Sega's mobile game Yakuza Wars appears to have been revealed early. So a mobile game based on the Yakuza Like a Dragon series appears to have been revealed early via a Facebook page called Yakuza Wars. It has been spotted, as reported by ex-user Noble. The page, which appears to be aimed at Chinese players, includes a brief description of the game along with some new artwork. Quote, and this was translated, Sega's first officially licensed Like a Dragon mobile game is a brand new classic gangster-themed masterpiece for mobile phones, creating innovative strategic war gameplay. Here you can fight side by side with classic characters such as Kiryu Kazuma, Kasuga Ichiban, and Majima Goro, and write your own legendary story in the Yakuza overworld. And mobile ads and a trailer for the game have been spotted, but they currently don't show any actual gameplay and just show character art. So let's go back to the beginning of August, friends, when this thing was trademarked. And I think I went on like a 15-minute rant about all of the different things this could be, because that's just what I do. But I think at the end of that conversation, we all kind of came to the conclusion that this sounds like it's going to be a mobile title based off of the Clan Creator minigame that you can find in Kiwami and in 6. I'm not sure if it's in any other games. I can't remember off the top of my head. And that's exactly what it looks like this is going to be. It's kind of like an RTS game. You have different classes of enemies, and you just basically have to just beat the shit out of everybody. And then you win and you move on. Now, what that's going to look like in a mobile iteration, who could say, but I'm sure we'll find out. What's interesting, though, is that the Facebook page is still up. It's like, it's still a thing, and the pictures are still there. So a lot of folks were thinking, well, maybe this is fake. Maybe these photos look a little AI generated. Maybe this is just, either way, like, don't you think, Andrea, that they would have done something with this page by now? It's been several days, but it's still up. It's still a thing. You think they would unpublish it?
Unless this is all by design.
Unless it's all by design, in which case this is the wimpiest ass erection I've ever experienced in my life. You know, like, I mean, and here's the thing too, is I think this looks fun. Maybe this is what'll get me to buy a new iPhone, right? Is looking at my husband Majima Goro on it. Folks do have their panties twisted, though, in a very uncomfortable bundle. It's given them, like, it's splitting them in 18 different directions. They're so upset about it because I think they are worried that this is going to be that new announcement that we're getting in the coming weeks. So we are getting an RGG Summit on 9/20, September 20th. If you're on the West Coast like me, that's going to be at 3 a.m., friends. Get your sleeping bag ready. We're having a sleepover. We're crimping our hair. We're painting our nails. It's going to be fantastic. And then also we know at TGS, there's going to be something else there. That's September 26th through September 29th. If I had to read between the lines, unless this has been officially confirmed, I believe they're going to announce their new slate of titles, whatever thing that is new at the RGG Summit. And then we're probably going to get a deeper dive at Tokyo Game Show. This mobile game is not that. Calm the fuck down, put your pitchforks away, and go touch grass. Are people still saying that? I don't know. I'm just trying to sound cool. But just relax and calm down. You're going to be fine. I think this looks great. If we can bring Yakuza to more people in any way, shape, or form, why not? If it can generate additional revenue for RGG, why not? I don't know why you're so mad. You don't have to play it. You're still going to be getting your judgments. You're still going to be getting your hot guiding games and everything else. So just,
you know, it's like Reese said on the show last week, or maybe we talked about it after we stopped recording, but her idea for a t-shirt that is play the game or don't. And then I added in parentheses and shut up about it.
Yes.
It's like, hey, you can play the game. Yeah. Or you don't have to play the game.
Yeah.
Good news, it's definitely optional.
It is.
And like you mentioned, the Yakuza library of games is vast. There is a lot of mainline games to play. And because they're having this summit, there's no way they're not announcing another mainline PC and console game. Why would they hold a giant summit to talk about a mobile title? But there are literally billions with a B, as in boy, oh boy, that's a lot of people, playing video games on their mobile devices. So, of course, they want to make a Yakuza game for mobile.
Like, yeah, and this is great. I think this is a great fit.
Why are they outraged? It's been like this now for over a decade.
I don't know, because people don't know how game development works. I think they assume that all of the resources are going into this, and that means we can't get something else. And this is why... Anyway, I'm going to stop. I'm excited. I hope this is it. Obviously, nothing has been confirmed, but I'm assuming it will be confirmed next week? Is that? Yeah, that's next Friday. Yeah, let's go. Let's fucking go. I think this sounds fun. Stop being a hater, bitches.
Yeah.
And also, we're getting the live action series at the end of October. So we're getting plenty of good things. Just take it in, soak it in. Just be excited. You know how excited we would be for a new Yakuza game how many years ago? You know what I mean? Before we weren't getting shit over here, before it was super popular in North America. Now y'all are greedy. You've gotten too much of a good thing, and now you expect the good thing all the time. You can still get the good thing. You can also get another thing that maybe isn't as good, but it's still good in its own way.
Again, it's okay if it's not for you. Play the game or don't. Don't play the game. Just shut up about it.
I'm so excited, though. I mean, I feel like, again, like we're winding down, Andrea, and I know this, and I've said it many times, but we're winding down at a time in this industry where I get Dragon Age, I get Zelda, I get Yakuza, I get Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. You know, I mean, the only thing I'm missing is Resident Evil.
I have a feeling we're going to get an announcement about something Resident Evil.
And that's just what I was going to say. We got Tokyo Game Show, baby. And if I get...
Or if not Tokyo Game Show, Game Awards.
Game Awards, yeah. One or the other. But if we get something at Tokyo Game Show, I'm going to be truly living my best lives. Like, but then I guess that is after we wind down. Nah, kind of. My point is like, I feel like the universe is giving me a big hug, baby. And they're saying, like, it's okay, girl. We got you. Here's all your hot, fuckable video game protagonists.
All Brittany ever needs in life. On that note, we're going to take our last break of the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about going medieval, baby. See you in a minute. It's that time of the show where we talk about what we've been playing. And Brittany, when we were at PAX, there was a lot of video games there. But because we had such a jam-packed episode last week, we couldn't fit everything in. But you got your hands on with one of your upcoming most anticipated games, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Ah, yes, I sure did. I was so stoked to see this email come in my inbox. Yeah, so this is the sequel to Kingdom Come Deliverance, which came out in 2018, published and developed by Warhorse. And I got to play. It was actually also just recently delayed to February 11th, 2025, which I think is the same day Civ 7 comes out. But I did get to play for about 45 minutes at PAX, and if anyone knows anything about this game, it is massive, sprawling, medieval RPG, very realistic. I don't want to call it an immersive sim because I feel like that doesn't accurately describe it, but at the same time, there are a lot of elements that go along with that. For example, the first game, you had to have Henry, the main protagonist, you could teach him to read, and that took a long time. You could teach him how to do everything and anything, hunting, and it was a whole bunch of stuff you could do. Completely optional as well. So anyway, my point being is like, this is the sort of game that you can't really spend 45 minutes with and walk away being like, I know everything about this, because like, you just can't. But 3 weeks ago, they did have a bunch of they had a bunch of press come out to Prague where they did a really cool event, and those folks got to play about 3 hours of the game. So I'm going to talk about what I got to see in the little 45 minutes that I had, and then I'm going to combine some of the stuff that I've read in previews because, yeah, they got a lot more than I did. But anyway, immediately upon booting up Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, immediately noticed this game just looks really, really pretty. The first one, obviously, a much smaller team at the time, smaller budget, and you can just really tell that they have a lot more resources at their disposal to make this game look great, it sound great, the animation, the facial animations, the graphics, the color palette, even simple things as washing your face in a trough, which I know sounds really weird, but if you don't, you get really stinky if you don't go to the bathhouse. If you don't wash yourself, people will like judge you and they're like, oh, you smell like shit. And you're like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. So what you'd have to do is you'd have to go wash your face in a trough as you're walking around, and the game would literally just like fade to black because there was no animation for it. But in this time, when you wash your face, there's a whole ass animation and you can see the water. And I know that sounds like the simplest little thing, but as someone who loves this team and loves this game so much and has wanted nothing but to see it succeed, it was almost emotional for me just to, you want to see the games that you love and the teams you love do well and have the resources that they need to create the game of their dreams, right? It's kind of like with Larian and Baldur's Gate 3. It's the same sort of like love and affection I have in there. So anyway, just walking around was just stunning in itself. And I did ask the PR manager, Tobias, I was like, can I just wander and take it all in and do everything. And he was like, you probably shouldn't. You should probably actually play the game and see the mission that we have set aside for you. And I said, fine, maybe I will. As you're walking around, I was in Kutenberg. There's so many more NPCs this time around, and they fill up the streets, and they all look so vastly different. And again, that is such a big deal because it's just like, this is what I always envisioned that the game would ultimately look like. So my mission was I had to sneak into a building, and I had to steal a sword, and I had to hang the sword outside of the building for reasons. And that was my whole mission. Sneak into this area, and there's fences around, it's guarded, there's locked doors, there's guards roaming around. And I mean, listen, like, I'm really bad at stealth and sneaking, but somehow I'm relatively good at it in this game. So I've played this game, so I know its nuances. And so one of the things you should know is when you're trying to sneak into any building, you want to do it at nighttime because people are freaking sleeping unless they're like me and what is sleep. But you want to go in because you have an easier chance at going in undetected, finding what you need undetected. And you also know you want to do it as naked as possible because otherwise your armor is going to make lots of sounds. So I stripped my Henry down to nothing but his little skivvies. And then I realized I really didn't need to do that because I actually had really quiet clothing on, but I digress. And then I snuck in, I lockpicked the door, I got the sword, I hung it outside. And the next morning, everyone's panties were in a bundle and there was a big kerfuffle. I did my job, good for me. So what that meant is I then had to have a duel. And because I went in undetected, the duel was going to be a fair duel, meaning that me and my opponents were going to have the same amount of armor and the same advantages and disadvantages. However, if you sneak in and you get caught, you are going to have a disadvantage because they're going to say, haha, you suck, you got caught. Now your enemies get to wear armor and you're going to have a much more difficult time. This is a game heavily based off of choice and consequence, and to the point where they made saving very difficult in the first game, Warhorse did, because they wanted to feel like there was a lot at stake with your decisions. So save scumming honestly wasn't really an option. And so they've built these intertwining paths that no matter what happens, you're going to get to something, even if you fuck up, even if you mess up. The saving thing was a really big issue of mine in the first game because I am someone who knows I probably only have time to play a game once. And if I play it once, I want to make sure to have the playthrough that I want, even if that means like I have to redo a section over again. I did talk to them a little bit about this time around, and it's supposed to be not as cumbersome, a little bit more accessible, but they do want you to have some skin in the teeth. So again, I do not expect there's going to be a save scum option like I kind of personally hope for. But it's all good. And so I was reading Wesley LeBlanc's preview event from when he went to Prague, and he had to do the same mission I did. And so his story, the way his mission went down was a little different. He actually got arrested 3 times while he was playing this game, which can happen. And I was like, how the hell did that happen? So I'm reading. The first mistake he made, and this just goes to show you how differently your gameplay can vary. He went to go lockpick a door. Lockpicking is loud because we're in like the 1500s and shit. Like, it ain't quiet. And so he, in the daytime, was just like standing there trying to lockpick. A guard saw him, was like, what the hell are you doing? Instantly go to jail. He's like, okay, that sucks. So he spends his time in jail. He comes back out and he's like, all right, I'm going to go at nighttime where no one can see me and hopefully people will be in bed. Fun thing, if you don't have a torch at night and you're not carrying one around, the guards are going to think you're suspicious as hell. So the guard saw him walking around in the dark with no torch, like, hey, you're a suspicious ass person. What are you doing? Threw him in jail. So then he got put in jail again. So a third time, he's like, I'm going to freaking try to get the sword and do this thing. So he lockpicks the door. He gets in there. He's crouched and he's chilling, like waiting for this guard to pass so he can try to get this. And he said, I had noticed earlier while playing that people had commented on how stinky he was. Didn't really quite understand that baths are important in this game. Washing your face is important in this game. The guard literally smelled him, turned around, found him, threw his ass in jail the third time. So it's just funny to read people's different experiences and how much the game can adapt to your play style or what you know and you don't know. And like, listen, it's a lesson we've all had to learn the hard way.
So I just thought that is important, and showering is important. Remember what you smell like.
Yeah, absolutely. And they will treat you differently in this game. Fun fact, they absolutely will. Some other things I learned that was interesting from reading other previews is that something is going to happen to Henry, so he's not going to be as powerful as he was at the end of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, which makes sense to me because you can't really start a game off like being all powerful because then where's the RPG progression in that? From what I've read, it's a semi-natural narrative thing that happens where it makes it a little bit more believable, but you won't have to teach him certain things like how to read again, which was quite the adventure in the first one. The other thing, let's see, is that Warhorse is very aware of how buggy the initial game launched in 2018. In fact, I had to put it down in 2018 because the crashes and the lack of easy saves made it almost near unplayable at one point. Sounds like they're very aware of that, and they're doing their best to squash all those bugs before their February release. So it is good to hear the acknowledgement of how frustrating that was for all of us, the players. And was there anything else I have in my notes here that I want to talk about? I don't think so. I think the other main thing, actually, I lied, is combat. It's a very interesting combat system, and I'm not going to try to explain it because I'll fail miserably because I just mash buttons and hope for the best. But you definitely have to have your sword arm, angled in a different way. You do that with the right stick. You have a block button. They've taken out the slash mechanic, which is a big deal if you know what I'm talking about, because that's how you could button mash and how you could really kind of just like cheese your way through the game, which is admittedly what I did. They've taken that out, but apparently they've streamlined the combat a lot more. I didn't get a lot of chance to practice with it during my brief 45 minutes, but all in all, like after playing this, obviously I just want to play more. I mean, duh, like you knew that's what I was going to say. One of my easily most anticipated games of next year. I love the studio. I love their passion they have. And you can tell they just genuinely want to make a great game. And they almost remind me of like a baby Larian, if that makes sense, in the terms of just the genuine care that they have for their player base and their community and just listening to feedback. So I'm stoked. February can't come soon enough. Very, very excited for this game, and just grateful that I was able to play it at PAX for as little as it was.
I know it's always a double-edged sword, pun intended, when we have to play these kinds of things in preview settings, because we're eager and anxious and feel so privileged to be able to get that hands-on access ahead of the game being released. But also, as a fan of some of these games, you're like, well, I don't really want to experience it before I'm ready and having to go back and play it again. So it's column A, column B. Which I'm sure you felt in the other game that you got to play ahead of time.
I was just going to say, I can't tell you shit, but I got to play Dragon Age the Veilguard. And amen to everything you just said, baby. I will be able to talk about it next week. And I have lots to say. I mean, duh, who didn't see that coming, right? I bet you didn't see that coming, Andrew. I bet you thought I would just hop on here and say I played the game, insert reaction here, and that would be it. Oh, no. I literally have 8 pages of notes.
I am not surprised whatsoever. I saw the photos of you at the event and several other people also posting photos that they were at the event. So we're excited that Danny Pena is joining us one final time here on What's Good Games next week to talk about Dragon Age, the Veilguard, as you like to say. And we will talk to him about that when you guys are allowed to. And then, we'll have to just follow you on social media for your thoughts when the game actually comes out.
Yeah. Too real. It's getting too real. Stop
getting real, Britt. It's getting real. Now, this is where I would like to insert. This is what I have been playing because I'm supposed to be playing Star Wars Outlaws, which just did a brand new patch, which I'm very glad that I have waited to really dive into my playthrough. I also I'm supposed to be playing Astrobot, which is, by all accounts, the frontrunner now for multiple people's GOTY. Is it going to be Game of the Year or not?
Hell yeah.
But it's just been a very hectic couple of weeks, and I was, once again, out of town. So the only thing that I've been playing is I've been playing my Garden Joy game on my phone. Yes, still in it to win it. And I also picked Grindstone back up from Cappy Games, which is a mobile game that I really love. It's a puzzle-based game with some really fun elements, and it's one of my favorite games to play because you don't need to be connected to the internet to play it.
The best. It's the best.
Yes. It's great.
Good.
So if you've never played Grindstone or checked it out, that was a recommendation I got, I think, multiple years ago at this point from Janet Garcia. So,
yeah, when she was on our show, right? Isn't that when she recommended that?
Yes, it's still good. They've put out a bunch of updates and fun things you can play. So, highly recommend if you've never checked it out. Grindstone.
I think. Sorry, I'm ordering a sandwich because I'm realizing I haven't eaten today. Hello, DoorDash. You are my friend. I would say sponsor us, but LOL. No, I mean, I think this is like a good reminder of how busy life is and how busy life has become. You know, don't feel bad about not having played stuff. You are busy. You're doing a lot of things. You have a child. I have a child. Ree has a child. And it just kind of, drives home that although wrapping up the show is a very hard, tough decision, we know in our hearts that it's the right decision because life is getting busy. So
it sure
busy.
is. It sure is.
Yeah.
Brittany, we're not going to end this episode before we remind people that while life is busy, if you live in the United States of America, we implore you to make time to register to vote. We have a very important election coming up in just a couple of months. The debate was last night. A bunch of things happened at that debate, which we're not going to dive into here, though I think everybody who is listening at this point of the show, who is an end of the episode homie, knows that y'all know that we're Kamala stans, and it's important for you to.
Please vote. It's good for you. It's good for me. It's good for the future of our economy and the country.
In this election, vote. In this election, vote. In this election, please vote. In this election, vote. In this election. In this election, please vote. Please vote. In this election. In this election. In this election, please vote. In this election, please. In this election, please vote.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of What's Good Games. We are excited for the next couple of weeks. We got some fun stuff planned.
I think I pulled a muscle on my shoulder.
Come back. We have more to talk about. But for now, go do something fun that makes you happy and brings you joy. Or brings somebody else joy, because that's worth your time too. Bye, everybody.